Well, what's going on, guys? Healy here, and today I have a video about the National League Division Series between the Colorado Rockies and the Milwaukee Brewers. The Rockies coming off a win against the Chicago Cubs on Tuesday. They had one day off. The Brewers actually played on Monday in the tiebreaker game, so they didn't have as many days off as some of these other teams. But that one game that Colorado had to play on Tuesday could be crucial because that's one less good pitcher from the rotation that they can use for maybe multiple games in this series. It's hard to get a guy throwing twice in a 5-game series. Obviously, you can get a guy throwing game 1 and game 5, maybe even game 4 if you push it up. But in a 5-game series, you don't really want them to go on 3 days rest this early in the playoffs. The Rockies in game 1 are going to throw Senzatella, 6-6, 4.36 ERA on the year. And the Brewers are going to match that selection with Brandon Woodruff. They aren't going to go with their ace right away. Game 2 is going to be Tyler Anderson versus Shashin from the Brewers. Game 3, the Brewers have not decided who they're going to throw. There's no probable starter for the Brewers, but Herman Marquez is going to be the guy going for Colorado. Freeland will probably pitch game 4 if necessary. Craig Counsell, I believe, is just going to make it a mystery of who's going to start every single day. In the elimination game, he waited pretty much until almost game time to decide who was going to throw. So I think he's going to do that for most of the games. As a series, I predict the Brewers are going to win 3-1 over Colorado. The Brewers are super hot in September, and I think they're going to carry it into October. Christian Yelich, unbelievable. His September month is unbelievable. He had a month that are some people's half seasons worth of stats. 10 homers, 33 RBIs in September. Unbelievable. He batted like 330. He can hit right-handers, he can hit lefties. The splits don't even matter. I feel like that Milwaukee lineup is so deadly. Jonathan Scope, if he gets hot at the right time, amazing. Mike Moustakas was a good pickup. Travis Shaw, they could use Braun. They could use Eric Thames. Orlando Arcia had a beast elimination or play-in game pretty much for the division on Monday. That team clicks. Oh, the Brewers are going to be very, very scary. Colorado has a good lineup as well. Arenado, Trevor Story, Ian Desmond, David Dahl, who is pretty hot. Charlie Blackmon. But unfortunately, I feel like even though these teams are somewhat even on paper, stats-wise and lineup-wise, I got to bring the Coors effect into this decision. Doesn't affect all the players on the Rockies, but some of them, especially like Trevor Story, they played really well at home and they just played average on the road. Colorado doesn't have home field advantage. I feel like the Brewers are going to take the first 2. Colorado will probably retaliate with game 3, and then the Brewers will take game 4 in Colorado. So as good as Colorado hits at home, it might seem unstoppable. I feel like the Brewers will go to Colorado and bring that same heat. Bullpen-wise, I feel like both teams have a pretty good bullpen. The Brewers have Josh Hader, Jeffries, Soria. The Rockies have Ottavino, Wade Davis. They have O, who pitched pretty well against the Cubs. They have a lefty with Rosen. Don't know how to actually pronounce his name. And if Colorado wants to actually win the series, well, they want to. But if they're going to win the series, they have a pretty solid bullpen. They have to get their starters to pitch well, and their lineup has to perform and get them a lead so that the bullpen can come in and shut down the Milwaukee Brewers. But unless that happens, the starters clicking and the lineup hitting really well, then the Brewers are going to get a lead. They are really good on offense, probably a pretty decent lead, and the bullpen won't necessarily matter as much for the Rockies. They're going to be playing catch up. Obviously, they're going to throw guys that might not normally throw in certain situations to keep the game where it's at. But like I said, this series I think will be 3-1 Milwaukee Brewers. If you guys did not check out my video earlier, I would recommend to go see it. I used Out of the Park Baseball and simulated this series 10,000 times. It only took a matter of minutes, as the program is very good at determining outcomes. The most realistic baseball simulator out there. Out of the 10,000 times, it did have the Brewers winning 51% of the time. So 51% compared to 49%. This series on Out of the Park Baseball, super close. And as the Brewers with the slight outcome of pulling this off. Normally in division series, I don't see a lot of game 5s. It does happen, but I feel like a team gets out in front and then all they have to do is pick up 1 out of the last 3 games. They normally go up 2-0 and maybe take game 4 so that they win the series 3-1. But Out of the Park Baseball is showing Colorado does have a pretty decent chance of pulling this series out as well. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this series in the comments section down below. Who's going to win? How many games they're going to win in the series? How many games they're going to lose? Who do you think is going to be the key player of this series? It should be a good one. So make sure you leave a like, subscribe down below. This is Healy, and I am out. Peace.